What's up there, football fans? Welcome to another episode of The Touchdown with Doug Smith. So happy you guys are tuned in to another classic episode. Now, guys, in this episode, we're going to take and talk about losers in this year's 2020 NFL Draft. Just when you thought the COVID-19 couldn't get depressing enough, some of your favorite football teams, well, they're not going to make you that much more happier, okay? So let's get into it. Now, I have four teams I want to take and discuss. I'm going to go over a few maybes that I have a few questions about as well, too. But let's get right into it. I'm going to start from, now, first I'm going to take and start off is the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, I said it, the Seattle Seahawks. Now, when teams take and draft, you can't get everything done. You can't necessarily fix all your problems in 3 days. You can't, okay? Now, but you do have a few teams out there that they're going to be competing for, a NFC or AFC championship and then eventually a Super Bowl, okay? Well, guys, two of those teams were actually, one of those teams actually ended up making it to the NFC championship. I'll get to them here very shortly, but some of the problems could even be fixed with free agency as well too. But guys, I am not pleased by this team at all. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks, Russell Wilson. Guys, the first team I'm going to take and talk about is going to be the Seattle Seahawks. Now, they're a very good team. Now, when you draft, you're either drafting for the future, like the Miami Dolphins. I would probably take and give them an A- if I'm grading their draft picks based off of need and what can ultimately elevate them to the next level. However, you got teams like the Seattle Seahawks. They need to spice it up a lot. It seems that every year it's the same thing and everybody's expecting it. Russell Wilson's going to extend the play because the O-line is okay. The running game isn't bad. It definitely got better. Big fan of Chris Carson. Very excited that they got that young man from University of Miami. So it hasn't been all bad, but there was just a lot more better things they could have done in this draft. The wide receivers in this year's draft were very, 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 very deep. And you had teams like the Broncos just double dipping, getting their receivers and what it is that they need. Where you had teams like, Miami, they're like, okay, well, we need another cornerback. We need to beef up our O-line, and they went after as needs. And then you had teams like the Kansas City Chiefs where, they're like, hey, we're going to reload and we're going to make another Super Bowl run, baby, is what we're going to try to do. Shout out to the Baltimore Ravens as well, too. They made some mighty nice moves, too. But Seattle Seahawks, guys, I'm going to expect them where they took him. They got that bird got shot down in the playoffs. I don't see them going any further this year. Now, Jadeveon Clowney is a big, big question mark. Now, they did touch upon the defense, and I do like some of those picks. So they got Jordan Brooks, Texas Tech. They also got Darrell Taylor, defensive end from Tennessee. So, but again, you got to beef up. When you have a talent like Russell Wilson, who, he's one of those guys, he's not going to be that 400, 500-yard a game guy. He's not. But he'll get you 250 yards, and he'll run you down the field. He will score for you. But he needs to have receivers, y'all. And that was just something that was not addressed in the draft. So maybe I'm being a little hard on them, but that's just the way I see it. I see Russell Wilson as a guy who, should have two working on his third ring, but only has one. So but again, just something for y'all to think about. Next team I want to take and talk about, and I know it's been on all your minds. You probably saw this coming from a mile away. Is going to be the Greenbay Packers. Now, guys, I don't know what's going on over there in Green Bay. They're not a team that's on, they're like the Dolphins where, okay, we need defensive tackle, we need O-line, we need safety. They basically need everything, right? No, they have Green Bay did a great job drafting offensive tackles this year. They did. They want to make sure their man Aaron is protected. But again, and I just said this, the wide receivers were very deep in this year's draft, from Ayuk to Jerry Jeudy, CeeDee Lamb slid to the Cowboys, y'all. Everybody was getting a taste of something. This is going to be a very fast-paced NFL season coming up, as far as the action with all the great receiver talent coming in. But that talent's not really going to Green Bay, and I'm not really impressed. Now, Jordan Love, this isn't a dig at him at all, but and I understand if Aaron Rodgers has like 1 or 2 years, but y'all, he's not 40. You guys, 36, I believe. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But 36 years old, talking about in certain interviews like he wants to take and eventually go to the age of 45. Now, along with some of his peers like Brady and stuff like that, and shout out to Brady, man. He's just raising that level of competition and expectations for people and stuff like that. But But they got Jordan Love, and it just shows like, do you guys have a lot of faith in Aaron Rodgers? I'm gonna take and say something. Y'all remember a guy by the name of Mike McCarthy? You know, he now's for the Dallas Cowboys. The guy could build a team. I'm not gonna take that away from him. But he got complacent after, I want to say 2011, 2012, when they won the Super Bowl, Green Bay Packers. You know, when that had happened, they became super complacent. They were just a good team. Much like the Seattle Seahawks, okay? They're just a good team, but they're not doing too much to take and spice up. It's going to be great play calling and stuff. But y'all, with the talent, with the Ravens and Kansas City Chiefs, Patriots always knocking on that door too, man. I mean, and then you have other teams that's going to be surging as well too. You know, you got the New Orleans Saints as well too. You know, so they got smoked very early in the playoffs last year, but again, they'll be back. You can't draft lackluster. Oh, we're thinking about the future. Y'all made it to an NFC championship. Take advantage of the quarterback that you have now. Again, I'm not mad that they picked Jordan Love, but I'm mad that they didn't try to pick someone in the second or third round. Heck, Jalen Hurts is there. I mean, there was other talent, Jake Fromm, other guys who slid super duper deep, you know, so yeah, usually I don't get hyped up about that. I love Aaron Rodgers, y'all. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. Sheriff, man, huge fan of Aaron Rodgers. But what a great way to spit in your quarterback's face. You know, I mean, I'm just not a fan of that pick. I'm really not. I mean, he had, Denzel Mims at that point of the draft. I mean, they had a lot of people. I think Brandon Ayuk. Don't quote me on that, but I mean, they had a lot of people who slid and some really, really good wide receivers. It's probably the thickest. I mean, I'm 31 years old. It's probably the thickest wide receiver draft that I've seen in a long time. So, and everything. So, next team I want to take and talk about some of the most loyal fans in the NFL, y'all. Loyal. If you see a Washington Redskins, you know, they done been through some stuff, but they have a very rich history. But they're not creating the right history right now. What's his name? Dwayne Haskins. Now, they said that they're going to stick by their guy, Dwayne Haskins. I'm a Dwayne Haskins guy. I believe that he said he wants to be the next Brady. I believe him. Will he do it? Well, I don't think so if they keep drafting the way they're drafting. They say they believe in their guy, but are you just trying to tank another year so you could get eventually another better quarterback, perhaps, next year's draft? I don't know. Now, they picked, let me see here. Yeah, Dwayne Haskins was sacked 29 times last year. Now, this isn't to take away from Chase Young. I think they did the right thing in getting Chase Young, but there were so many, again, a lot of offensive linemen available at that point in the draft, and the number of draft picks they had, they could have at least got 2. I mean, they could have did a heck of a lot better. I don't see their offensive situation getting better. It's very hard to take and develop a quarterback, you know, and yet alone have a running game, yet alone have any type of offense if those battles are not won in the trenches. So, and those battles especially ain't going to be winning in the ownership of that team. Some of the closest people to me are Redskins fans, as a matter of fact, and great way to take and hog a loogie right in the whole, spit right on the whole fan base. So again, huge fan of Chase Young. Y'all, that kid is a phenom. I'm so glad they picked him. What a great way to lift the fans' spirits and stuff like that. But again, got to protect your quarterback. You also have something. I personally believe in my heart, and I've watched a lot of quarterbacks for a long time, Dwayne Haskins is the truth. But again, in order for him to be the truth, you need the evidence. That evidence is in the O-line, and that just wasn't really addressed in the draft. Again, offseason ain't over. That could maybe be addressed later. So if you're watching this in 2 months and you try to check me in the comments, hey, this video's a little old. All right. Next team and final team I want to take and talk about, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Boy, do they get a big fat F from me. Jacksonville, what the heck happened? You know, a couple years ago, y'all were in the AFC Championship, and you guys have a lot of issues from, it trickles down. I call it the trickle-down effects. You know, starts from, you know, your top ownership, goes down to your coaches, your coordinators, and you have a bunch of unhappy players who don't want to be there. You know, I think it goes beyond Jalen Ramsey, goes beyond, you know, some of your other defensive linemen who also want to get out there. And now your star running back, you know, I think y'all had 3 touchdowns last year, running touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty horrible. That's pretty. Now I'm going to pull up some stats here, y'all. I'm a huge Gardner Minshew fan. Huge Gardner Minshew fan. But sometimes when you draft and you're all over the place, your results are going to be all over the place. Now, if you're a polished team like the Ravens or Kansas City Chiefs, New Orleans Saints, if you're a polished team, you could take and stack up on certain positions, and have depth, and so when guys get injured, you have other people stepping up and people they can learn from. It's just a beautiful thing, your team's good. But when you have a team that's gutted, that's not even a skeleton of what they once were a couple seasons ago, oh my gosh, I feel bad for Jacksonville Jaguars fans. I really, really do, because this draft had a lot of good players, a lot of good offensive linemen, a lot of good linebackers, and also as well a lot of good wide receivers. Again, I'm gonna keep saying that, and quarterbacks, but obviously they have Gardner Minshew. Now Gardner Minshew did his thing. Could you imagine if this guy, now mind you, and I want to throw a name out there, I'm not sure if y'all have ever heard this name, Ben Barch. They got one offensive tackle the whole draft. How are you supposed to take, Gardner Minshew ain't gonna have much of a career, by the way. He's not about to have as much a career as Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. And, it's one of those things where, it's going to be another difficult season. And are y'all going to try to tank? What are you guys going to try to do next year? But if your team and I'm not just shouting them out because it's my favorite team, but the Miami Dolphins, they took 3 offensive linemen along with picking up Eric Flowers and also the center from the New England Patriots. I believe his name is, for their O-line, because they realize it's a major problem. Now, guys, if there's a cancer going on, you got to try different medications. You got to try different things, at least attempt to. You can't just try one medicine like, oh, okay, that's it, we're good. We also need this position. You guys got to get an offensive line going. You guys have to. Again, you have these teams like the Jacksonville Jaguars, Washington Redskins, where I've been saying Miami for a long time, New York Jets, teams around the league where, the ownership, they're just in it for the money. They want to move tickets. Okay, we got a franchise player. Okay, we're going to take and pay them. Money's coming in. That's all they care about. They don't really care about winning. So if you wonder why your team sucks for a long time, it's because of decisions like this. So, but anywho, that's all I got here today, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you guys for your support, man. I got some of the best fans in the world, man. I love you guys. Continue to subscribe. Continue to hit those alert buttons so that way you can get alert every time a video drops. God bless you guys. Be safe and wash your hands.
Touchdown.